All right, then. Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira, and this is a meeting of the Mucusless Minds. This is our second installation of this. We'll go around the hangout here and introduce everybody. Once we start down there at the right with Tony, so just say your name and say what's up to the world.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Peace. My name's Tony Boliby, out here in Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Ypsilanti area. Um, yeah, I'm just into this practice.
All right, all right. This is Brother Air.
This is Brother Air. Greetings to everyone, Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, just happy to be here. Wasn't expecting to be here. But for some reason, Professor can find you no matter where you're at.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, peace. I'm Danny Michael. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, and why don't you go give us a little bit of background about yourself and get kind of your little short bio, your experiences practicing the Mucusless diet, kind of when you read it, that kind of thing.
Okay, I think it was 97. I had two people give me a copy of the Mucusless Diet within within a month or two of each other. They didn't even know each other. I was 17 at the time, and I just kind of got into doing some like alternative studies on different things, and the diet became an interesting subject to me. So I was kind of open for it psychologically, and then people just started giving me a bunch of information. I had a lot of friends from different religious and cultural backgrounds, and I just listened at what everybody had to say. And I actually kind of got tricked into the diet because I was doing a report for a class in college, a speech class, and I was going to do it on, on not eating pork and red meat. And I was referencing the book because it was laying around the house. And when I went to get a lot of reference material, everything else made so much sense. It wouldn't make sense for me to make a lecture about not eating red meat if I wasn't going to talk about eating meat in general. So I just stopped eating meat at the time and studied the whole book and just kept going back and trying to refine myself over the years. So I've been trained in herbalism and iridology, different holistic sciences, but the mucusless diet has been like at the core of a lot of it. A lot of other things kind of contradict themselves. They're only good for a certain amount of time. But as I studied the mucusless diet, it's been like 16 years now, but I can always come back to it, and it still carries its own weight, So I found a lot of use out of it over the years, and I refer back to it often. But I'm not as it's more subconscious with me now. I don't do it on purpose anymore, but it just kind of my body carries me through these stages, through these different changes over the years. But that's definitely a point, where I began.
Okay, and you're real into kind of horticulture, and you seem to understand a lot about kind of gardening and plants and that kind of thing. I mean, is that something that you started studying then, or?
It's kind of a blur at this point, but back in it was like late 90s, like 97. I got into a lot of historic black studies, a lot of metaphysics, dietetics, and all of this stuff. It was kind of like a renaissance period for me. So all of these things kind of were introduced to me at the same time. And like the thing with plants, I think that's just like a capacity that kind of turned on in me. I think that we all have certain sensors inside the body that are good for different functions and applications. And I think that when you start changing your diet or your fast, or different spiritual exercises open up different faculties. And whatever faculty corresponds to plants in the human body, I think that it has at least been stimulated and opened in me. So I don't do a lot of gardening firsthand, but I just have a certain understanding, kind of like what they call like a symbiotic relationship, where you can come around a person, you can kind of tune into what they're going through, what they may be feeling and kind of relate to them. It's the same thing with plants. If a person is sensitive enough, they can pick up on any kind of vibration. So um, I like dealing with plants and studying them, but I have a lot of learning to do with them. So I'm not really known in that capacity, but I do have an affinity for understanding plant life because I feel like it helps us understand ourselves. You understand how a tree operates and how a tree can live for 6, 7, 8,000 years, and people are running around fast paced and they die off in less than a century. There's something to be learned from a tree. Maybe not from a horticulture book, but just from being around it and studying how it actually operates. How does it feed itself, or does it actually eat? Where does it get its energy from? What does it do? How does it respond with its environment? Like those kind of things interest me. I don't know if they really teach it like that in school, so I don't really listen to all of that. I just
Right,
I
right.
Yeah.
yeah, I look firsthand and let it talk to me and see what I can get from it.
And I really like what you said one time when you were talking. You were getting into the the connection between growing your own food and sort of like just the spiritual element of it. We think about like the vibration of the stuff that we put in our bodies, even if it's the fruit and the vegetables. It's like been
Right.
thrown on a truck and bounced around and stuff. And so when we talk about these higher levels and the direction that we want to start moving as a community, you know, that becomes a real important conversation, I think, about how the connection between what we're actually growing, you know, on a vibrational level, and
Right.
you know, and I don't know, what else was you saying there? You had some profound points about that.
Well, I mean, my insight was that, like, basically with plants, they record everything. Like, if you look at antennas, an antenna is an imitation plant. Like, back in the day, they used to sit antennas on top of the house. They look like cactuses. If you look at trees, whether it's a palm tree or oak tree, a cactus is a form of a tree. All of them are basically organic antennas. Let me put this window up. But they're like antennas. They pick up vibrations on the earth, and some people say that they transmit information between this planet and other planets, and they catch frequencies from different realities, and then they transmit them through themselves. The same way our hair can operate. Our hair looks like the branches or the leaves on trees based on what type of hair we have. A lot of time, lock.
Uh-oh. Yeah, all right.
All right. Well, you was asking about like growing our own stuff. This is just my own insights. I don't get it from an educational standpoint. It just kind of comes to me a certain way. But to me, that all the trees and all the planet's vegetation is already alive. They're like already living beings. So people try to grow produce and everything from an insensitive standpoint. So it's like it's almost like slavery. Like you want the slave to produce something, so you just beat it and you say, "Make me food. Do this for me. Do that for me." And the trees may produce fruit, but they're not doing it in a loving manner because they can feel just like a person can feel. So it's almost like a woman who's forced to have children for slavery. You just beat her, you rape her, you put her in a stall with a buck, and he's like half deranged, but he can produce sperm cells. But the sperm cells still have a certain quality of life in them. So if it's just a raging maniac and he's going into this woman or all these different women and just dropping off his seeds, just because a child's coming out doesn't mean that it's the same quality child that it would be if you put more concentration and focus into the effort. So my understanding is to make fruit and in some cases make vegetables. You know, I think that the person that's in charge of that particular work, they have to have a certain kind of spirit. You know, like if you had a holy man or a spiritual person producing your food for you, I'm pretty sure the quality of it would be of a much higher level because the plant is recording everything. It's picking up on the vibration the same way a child would. You keep a child in a certain environment, and then it comes home and it's cursing, or it comes home and it's doing some kind of crazy dance. It picks it up based on where it was, and it's the same thing with the food. It's like if you just got people just real rambunctious and they producing our food and feeding it to us, even if it is an apple, there's going to be certain things wrong with it. We just look at the form, but we don't look at the substance. We don't know how to measure that stuff. There's no, all we know is is an apple supposed to look like this? Does it look like the way that they showed me when I was in preschool? Is it red? Is it shiny? But the taste of it, I assume, as well as the effect of it, is going to be based on the vibrations that are infused in it by the people that handle it.
Yeah.
So,
and
to me,
I was gonna say that gets into, like Eric was talking about when you was talking about the human example, where of people, there's really nobody, there's not a lot of us out here that's the product of love vibrations. We're the product of stimulant. And
Right.
it's that type of consciousness, and so it turn on the news and all you're seeing is the crowning achievement of pus and mucus stimulant, and see what, when I like having these conversations about where we're trying to go in terms of the horticulture and the agriculture, that kind of thing, is because
Can we go?
I don't know. Dan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, your video cut out for a second. Yeah, but as we trying to take a step forward to the next the next reality, the next society, that's the kind of stuff that interests me. Is we talking about you say the after slavery, black people had the great migrations where they went out the West Coast and they went north. Well, it's time to migrate again. It's time for us. We got to, it's time to migrate back to where we're supposed to be. We're a tropical species. I don't understand why we would think that we could thrive in any kind of, standard of life in an environment that's diametrically opposed to life. We ain't supposed to be in an environment that's any colder than like 98 degrees, really. If you base it on just, we're 98 degrees.
Right.
98, 99, whatever, so it makes sense for us to be in an environment that's not 30 degrees.
Yeah, it's coming up to that too.
Do you ever wake up in the morning feeling bad? I mean really bad? Blowing your nose and coughing up green slime bad? What if I told you that the foods you eat are causing mucus to back up in your body? The good news is this waste can be eliminated naturally. Discover the simplest and most powerful natural lifestyle secret that has improved the lives of thousands. Professor Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira, is a complete course for those who desire to take their health into their own hands. You will learn how to naturally get rid of that annoying stuffy nose, soothe your nasty cough, melt away unwanted body fat, prevent dangerous health issues, and heal yourself of painful illnesses. Where are my real brothers and sisters at? You think you're hard? You think you're a revolutionary? Then you got to be talking about health. Learning to control what you put into your mouth is the most revolutionary thing you can do. Check out the book that inspired Dr. Sebi, Lila Africa, and many others. Visit www.mucusfreelife.com/revised-mucusless-diet to get your copy today while supplies last.